This is the Citizen Effect Podcast.
I can remember when we had a few bad months or something, you'd say, I mean, it is $2,500. So, I mean, you take it. And man, that's the hardest $2,500 you ever worked for in your life.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a temptation as new in the field to do it.
Yeah. I don't know, though. Sometimes taking the crazy stuff can be fun, too. We've done a few here recently. I've got a really fun one about it was this little lady from a town just outside of ours that's way smaller than ours called Kimberly, Idaho. And she had a little tiny cash-only bar and, had like 4 regular customers. And some sweet-talking salesman comes through town. I'm leaving out a lot of details, but presses her on a credit card processing machine, going, hey, you take credit cards, you'll get a lot more business and people. And she's like, yeah, but I've just always been cash. I don't want the fees. I don't want to deal with it. Long story short, he says, hey, you can try it out for a month, see if you like it. And if you don't, we'll take it back and keep just taking cash. I'm like, all right. Well, lo and behold, she gets it. The thing never really works. She hates it. They actually had her send like 3 different ones back to try another one to see if they could get one to work.
Just in 1 month?
Ultimately, she's like, listen, guys, this is not working for me. I just want to cancel. I'm just going to be a cash bar. And they're like, oh, you can't cancel. This is a 4-year lease on this. And we're going to be drawing this from it. It's like, you told me I could cancel. Like, no, it says, what's in writing. And so she just stopped paying them because she didn't even have the machine. She had sent, the last one back for not working again, but they're still trying to take money out of her account for this. And so my boss at my old firm, he was kind of he knew her kind of because he'd go out and drink there every once in a while. And so she mentioned it to him and he said, he came to me, what can we do with this? And so I sent a letter saying, listen, you guys screwed this up. Don't mess around with this lady anymore. Quit trying to take her money and we'll be fine. And they called us up and told us to pound sand. She owes this money. And, if she had actually closed the account that they were drawing money from so that they wouldn't take any more. And we said, listen, just leave her alone. This was at that point not a case that, we were looking to take. It was just sticking up for somebody who was nice and needed some help. And they just kept telling us, how terrible we were and that we weren't honoring the agreement. And all of a sudden, our client gets a notice that she has been sued in the community court for Lower Manhattan.
No good favor goes unpunished.
And we're like, what the hell? And sure enough, in the tiny, tiny print on the contract, it said they had a jurisdiction, a venue choice, and it was the community court of Lower Manhattan. And they basically had this attorney who sat in a basement and just processed hundreds of these when people stopped paying for these machines. And nobody's going to show up in Manhattan. And so we're like, well, what do we do? And thankfully, even though we're in a small community, we belong to various organizations, like the one where, we got to meet you guys, and some other ones that deal more specifically with our line of work. And they're national organizations. And so even though we're small town practitioners, we know some folks. Mm-hmm. And we called up one of the Michael Jordans from
the call favor for your bar tab.
Yeah. Huge plaintiffs, firm in New York that works on, multi-million-dollar cases on a regular basis, right? And we said, hey, you guys do us a favor. Can you go down to this hearing? To their credit, I mean, this guy was like a legend in his in the trial lawyer community, just because of the number of verdicts he's had. He'd been around forever, and so he goes walking into the community court of Lower Manhattan, and the attorney had damn near soiled herself. What was happening, and then they're like, yeah, we're going to oppose this, and she'd never had anybody oppose it before. It was all default, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden he showed up there. The judge like set it for, discovery and a later trial. And all of a sudden they're calling us going, hey, we'll walk away. And, you were right. We should just walk away from this. We're like, no, too late.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up uncovering all their practices across the country and the Better Business Bureau complaints and the consumer protection complaints against this company across the entire country were unreal. I think we provided something like 250,000 complaints to the court from these folks to just go, this is their pattern of practice. And they ended up paying Our Lady well enough that she no longer had to run a cash-only bar, and she packed up and moved out of Idaho. And so it turned into kind of a fun one where it was like, all right, normally I probably would have said, listen, just, see what happens. Right. It turned into some fun. And, it didn't end up making, the attorneys a bunch of money, but it was pretty significant to her. And it was just fun. Sometimes it's fun to do the fun, crazy thing when it's just the right thing, Yeah.
Thank you for watching this video. We've grown so much, and we're now looking to get to 10,000 subscribers. If you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below, and to make sure that you see more content from me and channels like me, you ring the bell and click the like button below.